Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI related tutorial by Team Slidescope. In this part, we are going to solve some DAX practice questions, and on the basis of those practice questions, we will simply use them in different visuals. The questions that we are solving are these questions here, like which department has highest average recovery score, create a measure to calculate the recovery efficiency. Now once we create recovery efficiency, like I will explain you what is the meaning of this chart, what we can conclude from here. Then we can create a calculated column to categorize recovery score. So these type of questions will be solved. We are going to solve 7 of these questions, and you can see, so in our measures table, like percentage with high recovery efficiency, you can see here. So we will solve these questions and apply them in our visuals here. Like treatment cost by recovery category is given. So this recovery category is actually a calculated column which will be created on the basis of condition. So we will learn all of them in this example. Let's get started. So let's start with solving the 10 DAX questions with answers for our hospital patient treatment data. Now we have done two parts of it. So in the first part we did recovery analysis, second part we did cost analysis. Let's duplicate this, and in this part we will solve various questions. So this is report 3 where we'll try to answer DAX questions, and here we will simply mention hospital patient treatment data. So we will just write. So we'll be solving DAX practice questions. Now question number 1 is, which department has the highest average recovery score? So you can see that in the data set, when patient treatment data is given, so wherever they were admitted, in which department were they admitted, it is given, and their treatment type, doctor name, their treatment cost is given, and their recovery score is given. So every record is of one particular patient. So here we are going to find out which department has the highest average recovery. So this can be done in 3 steps. So the whole purpose is to learn from scratch. So it is asking which department has the highest average recovery score. So if actually you will see our first example, this is recovery score by department, and if you will see recovery score by department, the average recovery score is 73.13 in case of pediatrics. So first thing that we have to do is to solve these kind of questions. First we have to do is to create a summary where we will group departments by their average recovery score. So you have to go step by step. Okay. So first we will create a new table, although in actual calculation it will not be needed, but I am just showing you how to do that. So we will write department by average recovery score, and for this we will use a function called summarize. What will summarize do? It will take your table, so we will write hospital data and group by column. Group by column is department, so we will group by department name. And what is the name? So we will say average recovery score. Okay, here I am going to write average of recovery score, because I have actually created another measure named average recovery score here, so I don't want to mess with it. Average recovery score, this is the name, and by what formula are you going to find the average? We will find it using average of hospital data recovery score. So this will help us in creating a summary table where we will group the departments by their average recovery score. So you can see in pediatrics it is highest. Now manually we can sort descending or ascending, but now this is something we have to do, and from here we have to pick the top first value, whatever is the first value. Now we will create another table. So we will go to table tool. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, here also we'll create another table, and here top department by recovery score. Okay, what is the top department by recovery score? We'll use top n. In top n we'll write 1. Then what is our table name? That is department by recovery score. So we are selecting top 1 record. What is our order by expression? Our order by expression is we have to find it by average recovery score, right? So that measure that we have created. So here we have to write average recovery score. Okay. So for example, we have this measure. So we can take the name of this measure also. So this is average recovery score. Okay. And to take the name of this measure, let's try in a square bracket average recovery score. Okay, so whatever existing name you have, you can write it like this. The average recovery score and order will be descending. So we want in the descending order what department is present at the first position. So when you will do that, so it is going to give you answer like this. And let me see, because that measure did not have any kind of relationship with this, so it was not giving us the answer. And here we have just selected that we have to do it on the basis of average recovery score in this table. Okay, so that's how now we will be able to get that first department, that is pediatrics. So now we have got the top department by recovery score, and we can go to our report. So in our third report we can take that name. So here now department by average recovery score, we can actually take the name of that department, that is it is showing first department. So because this is department wise, and actually our answer is in this, sorry for mistake, our answer is in this. And now here we can reduce the call out value to 25 to show that pediatrics is the first department, and instead of first department we can say department with highest score. So this is something we can write, and we can get rid of this for now. And this is our answer. Pediatrics is the department with highest recovery score. Now moving ahead, there is question number 2. We have to create a measure to calculate the recovery efficiency. That means recovery score per day of hospital stay. So here in the data set it is given that every patient stays at the hospital for some n number of days, and on the basis of that there is recovery score. Okay, so it's a simple calculation, not something that is very hard to understand, but the important stuff is understanding the question. So it is asking recovery efficiency, that is recovery score per day. So for recovery efficiency, first of all we'll create a measure. So we'll go to our table, and in our table we have measure tables. So we'll try to create a measure there. We'll create a new measure, and in that measure we'll write it as recovery efficiency. First of all I will change the name. So this is hospital data and not patients data. So hospital data. Now we are using function called divide. So in divide what we are doing is, first of all we are using the average recovery score. Okay, although we can take the measure directly also, but just to explain you. So in divide function you write numerator comma denominator. So numerator will be whatever is the average recovery score, and denominator will be whatever is the average number of days the patient has stayed in the hospital. So now then we will try to divide them, then we will divide them both, and that will create it for us. Okay, so measure to calculate recovery score per day of hospital stay. And this is something that you can do, and once you will run that, it is going to calculate the recovery efficiency for us. Now, once this recovery efficiency is created, so in our table, measures table, this recovery efficiency is uncategorized. The only thing in format that we will do is display the value in percentage. So because this is actually a percentage answer. So now here it is given maximum treatment cost, but here we are going to put whatever calculations we are doing. So now we will put recovery efficiency. So it is showing us 439.43% recovery efficiency on an average. So basically this is a ratio and not a percentage. So that's what we can show here. And the recovery efficiency of 4.93 or whatever, 4.39, whatever is coming, means that on an average patients gain 4.39 recovery points per day of hospital stay, and it's a useful metric to compare which treatments or departments deliver high recovery in fewer days. Okay, and here because department is given, now we can write the recovery efficiency, and you will be able to see recovery efficiency by different department. So now as per chart, so conclusion is gastrology has the highest recovery efficiency at 4.6, which is above the average of 4.39. This means patient in this department recover faster per day is spent in the hospital. Efficient care protocols or less complex cases could be contributing factors. In cardiology, neurology are also above or close to average, indicating fairly high daily recovery effectiveness. But in other departments that are listed here, which is slightly below average, this department may involve longer recovery periods or more complex conditions, leading to slightly lower scores. And what it means for stakeholders, so administrators might explore what this particular department is doing differently, shorter stays, better follow-up care. Departments below average might benefit from examining care practices, stay durations, or case complexity. This insight can support process optimization, patient care improvement, and resource allocation, etc. So this type of conclusions can be drawn from your analysis. So this is the result of answer number 2 for us. Next question is to create a calculated column to categorize recovery score. So basically we have to create a categorical column from the recovery score, which is a numerical value. And for this we are going to use the switch function. So first I will write it here, and this may be written in such a way that not easily readable, so we can write it like this. So first you will write switch function. In switch function you will write your result, which is true. Then you will write your first condition and what is the answer of first condition. Then your second condition, what will be the answer. Third condition, what will be the answer. And if none of these value will match, what will be the answer. So now it will loop through the rows of our data set, and in every row here, in every row recovery score is given. So basically if recovery score is greater than or equal to 85, if that condition is true, if that condition is true, it will write excellent there. If it is greater than equal to 70, good, 50, average, otherwise poor. So this is going to create recovery category. This is how it works. So we will simply go here and right click and create a new column, and in that new column, so all I have to do is change the name to from patients to hospital data. So this is hospital data recovery score. So it will loop, and wherever it will find that condition, So it will write that name here, okay, that it will write that particular category here. And now we can see, so this is recovery category, and on the basis of recovery category now we can find out other things, like we can try to find out treatment efficiency on the basis of recovery category. So since it becomes a categorical value, so here we will find that, so this is a recovery category. So here we will just remove doctor's name here and recovery category here. So recovery category good, average, excellent and poor, and this is showing treatment cost by recovery category now, okay. And you can see in which, obviously when recovery category is poor, in that case cost is also low. So this is something that will help you in analyzing the overall efficiency or recovery of hospital. So this is our question number 3, and this is how you can actually create a calculated column with the help of switch uh, function. So try that. In switch, the first argument is your expression, then you write value, result 1, value 2, result 2, value 3, result 3, and so on, and then you finally write your else. This is not necessary, like if you think you have covered all the conditions, so you will just write that, otherwise it may give a blank result. So make sure you are writing a else, so that if any condition is not met, what to write there. Next question is question number 4. Find the average treatment cost for patients with recovery score more than 80. So here we are actually applying filters and also calculating something. So average treatment cost. So that's why when we have to apply a filter and calculate a measure, so we use calculate function. So for question 4, we will use average cost for high recovery, and for that we will create a measure. So right click, new measure, and that will be calculate function, and we will use the hospital data and this. So actually in your calculate function you have two different arguments here, okay. One is your expression and second is your filter. So our expression is to find average of treatment cost, and our filter is to apply, or this will select only those rows where recovery score is greater than 80, okay. So this is something you can do, so we can do that. There is another way of doing something like this. So we created recovery category, so we can also say where hospital data recovery category equal to good, right. So we can use that kind of filter also. So this is average cost for high recovery, and now we can put it as a measure here. So this is average cost for high recovery, and which is coming as around 80.04k. Now in our second chapter, like in second report, we created treatment cost by gender, but here we want to analyze this average cost high recovery by gender. So which is more in case of female, that we can say here. In case of other gender it is around 83,000, and in male it is 66,000 for high recovery cases. So this is something that you can do as well. Now this is question number 5. Create a measure to find the percentage of patient with recovery score above 75. So here also we are trying to use a filter. So first of all you have to find out total number of patients, which will be created with the help of count rows, okay. So what are the steps to do questions like this? Because whenever you will be asked to create percentage, so in such questions how to approach, Percentage of patients whose recovery score is above 75. So just as we did above, first you will find number of patients with recovery score above 75. This will be first part. Then you will be find total number of patients, and if you will divide these two values, okay, then you will be actually able to get the ratio, that what is the ratio of total number of patients who are above 75 or who have recovery score above 75. So this is what we are doing with the help of divide function. First we are using the calculate function, where we are using count rows of our hospital data, and in that count rows we are applying a simple filter that patient recovery score is 75, something that we just did, right? So here it will find, so there we used average, here we are using count rows. So this is how calculate works. Whatever you want to count, whatever you want to calculate, you will write that expression as your first argument, and as a second argument you will provide the filter, and then this is going to be the numerator, and now this is going to be the denominator. So this will actually give you percentage high recovery. So percentage of patients with high recovery. Earlier we calculated average high recovery score. Okay, so this is average high recovery score, and we calculated the treatment cost. Here we are going to calculate percentage of patients with high recovery. So we will select new measure and percentage high recovery. The only thing, hospital data, make sure, and when you will do that, so maybe we have given or written some extra brackets here. Let me see. Now it's okay. So we had to change it at 3 places, and now this is showing us percentage high recovery. So instead of number of patients, we will simply tell percentage of patients with high recovery. So it is 0.44. Now actually in previous example we misinterpreted ratio as a percentage. This is definitely a percentage. So here we are going to write percentage high recovery and select the percentage here, and number of decimal places 2. So this is 43.50% with high recovery. Now in the previous example, which we have to watch to understand what we did there, so we created a ribbon chart with treatment type and department as legend, treatment type as x-axis, showing that for different type of treatments and for different type of medication that we have, okay, and different type of department that we have, what is the cost, what is the treatment cost. So in this case we will simply replace it with a percentage of high recovery and try to see that percentage. So in that case you will actually see that in surgery treatment type for pediatrics department, percentage high recovery is highest, okay, but for this same department, because this yellow line is representing department, which we can see when we will enable legend there, okay. So now this pediatric, which is yellow, its recovery, patient high recovery percentage is lowest when it is observation, but on the other hand for gastro you can see in observation it becomes high, then it in therapy also, in medication, but for surgery it is very low, around 27.27% in high recovery cases. So this is something that you can see. So I'm just disabling the legend here, but this is percentage high recovery by treatment type and department. Okay, this is question number 5. Now question number 6. Create a measure to count patient whose stay exceeded the average but had below average recovery. Now here comes many different type of filters. So measure to count patients. So their stay exceeded the average value. So first we have to compare that their stay should be above the average value, but their average recovery score should be below the average recovery score, or their own recovery score should be below average recovery score. So two filters. So we will create this measure, and I will simply first of all expand this for you. So this will be read like this. So long stay low recovery count, calculate function. In calculate function, count row of patient where, so this is the first condition. Okay, count row of patient where patient hospital stays days is above average. So we are actually counting total number of rows, and this is first condition and this is second condition. Simple. So because in because in calculate function we can actually apply n number of filters. So the first filter that we are applying is that their hospital stay days is greater than average days, and their recovery score is lower than average recovery score. So this is something that we will calculate, and now we will create this measure. So you can see here three filters are there, and actually I have to every time change the name of this, but anyways, so because earlier when I practiced this, so I use the patient table. So now this, yeah. So by changing this, so you will be able to see long stay low recovery count. Okay, and because it's a measure, so now we can actually create another copy of it and try to see who has the long stay low recovery count. And let's see. So there are 46 patients with long stay but low recovery. Now in the previous example, we created age bin, basically dividing the age into age groups. Okay, so we will remove this line chart from here. So in age bin wise long stay low recovery count, so we can also show that. So in every age group, what is that particular number, and we can enable these data labels. So now that particular value 46 will be divided into different. So in age groups like 35 and 56, you can see the long stay low recovery count value, and this is another way to show distribution of data. Okay, the distribution of age by a particular number that we have calculated. So which we, first of all we have to rename. This is not average cost, so long stay low recovery count by days and age group. And here we don't have days because we have not taken any line chart here, which we took earlier, but this is something that you can do. And now we are going to see the use of rank function, rank X. Rank doctors based on their patient's average recovery score. So thing is, let's create a simple matrix just to understand that. Here we can put doctor name, and then we have recovery score. Okay, so not sorry, patient ID, and we have the average recovery score, which we can select sum of or average. You can see average recovery score wise which doctor is at first position. This is something that we did in our first case, right? The very first chapter that we did, but that was without the use of DAX. How to do it with the help of DAX? Now see, this is a calculated column because we are going to assign a rank to each doctor, like 1, 2, 3 or whatever rank, on the basis of this particular calculation. So let's see. So let's expand this. So rank X function. In rank X function, first argument is your table. So in that table you will select all unique names So now we use all function because we want to remove any kind of filters that are applied that can alter our calculation. So for that we use all. Then what you are ranking with? So we are ranking with calculation of average recovery score. That is what we are ranking with. Value is blank. Like for example, we want to select rank of a particular doctor. Then we will write some value here that doctor name is A Sharma. But that's why we keep this blank and descending. So if average recovery score is more, higher rank will be given. So this is what is happening here, right? So this will create calculated column. And remember when to create calculated column and where to do that. So we will create a new column here in our hospital data itself and remove it with this hospital data. This also. So now it is going to create a new column and that column will be those ranks. So if you will be able to see something like that, right? Rank is given here. Okay. So what is happening here is, let's say we had only record of doctors there and their recovery score was given, only their average recovery score was given, then this could have worked. But because in our table we have the records and those records are basically for every patient, so it's for every row. Okay, so that's why what we have to do is, in this case we will create a measure. So what I have done is I have created a measure and formula remains the same or similar kind of formula. So we are doing rank X where you have to select your table which is all hospital data doctor name. Then your expression is average recovery score. So average of recovery score. Then your value is blank and order is descending. Okay. Ties is like do you want to give a dense rank or if ties are there, like two doctors have the same average recovery score, then what are you going to do, dense or skip? So by default we'll keep it that like that. So when you will create this measure and then we'll use this measure in your matrix chart. Okay, you can do this as well. So in your matrix chart you will be able to see that now it is giving ranks. So let me increase the value size here so you can see. Okay, so we can increase the value size here, and for headers also we can increase header size, and for a style, so layout and a style preset we can select like flashy rows or something, whatever suits your requirement, like contrast alternating rows, and then you will have the colors. So for example, in your grid you have values. If you will expand that, so background color, so let's select some background color from the theme itself, and alternate background color, let's select this one. Okay, and for your headers we can select. So now we are talking about design certainly, but yes, that is important. So you can select this, and this is your subtotals which you can either disable or enable. Those subtotals you can enable or disable. If you have enabled them, then you have to kind of give text color and background color. So let's select same footer color for this also. So we are going to select some kind of background for it, which, so like you can give it a position of top or bottom, whatever you want. So I'll do more configuration, but let's understand what is happening here now. So here you can see that doctor with average value, right? So doctor with higher average recovery score will get a better rank. Okay, this is what happening here. What is happening here? And here actually we will disable the row subtotals, it's not needed. And here one more thing, if you want you can bring the average recovery score also here. Okay, so in values we can bring the average recovery score also, so which is given here, average recovery score, and then we can actually see. Okay, so you can see whatever average recovery score is for each doctor here. For example, 73.24, then rank is 1. For this doctor, it is 72.52, rank is 2, and so on. So, on the basis of that, we can now see the rank, which you can see in ascending and descending order here. Okay. So, the thing is, if we created a summary table, in that summary table, we could have created that calculated column because only one value would have been there. But here we have to rank them, so that's why we have created a column here, rank. So this not this doctor recovery rank, and we have used the all here because we want to remove any kind of filter. Return all the rows in table or all the values in a column, ignoring any filter. So this way you can find that. Okay, and now whatever we'll do, you can see on the basis of different filters, these calculated measures and calculated columns, whatever we have done here is going to change accordingly. So here we have tried to solve 7 questions. Rest of the 3 questions we'll solve in another part. We'll come up with more questions in this same series. We will try to increase the level of these questions, like complexity a little bit more, so that we can discuss more of them later. Till then, you can try these 7 questions and let us know if you have any suggestions or questions in the comment section. Link to the data set and a link to these questions and their answers will be given to you in the video description. Please subscribe to our channel because we will come with more advanced type of calculations, not on this data, but we are preparing many other data sets also. So we will come up with more questions and solutions. So thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.